Right, are we? Right, I'll do the official thing so you're aware. Apart from Chimp Spanner, with Ice for the Mosh Pit at Hammerfest. What are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. All settled in, I've eaten, I've had my cup of tea.
Feeling happier?
Yeah, I was a mess when I got here.
Yeah, no, it's understandable. Like I say, we've seen so many people involved in exactly the same. So, obviously, when I knew I was coming to interview you, the name Chimp Spanner, first of all, stood out. The reasons behind the name?
It's just a thing. I mean, when I set my MP3 account up, like this is years ago, back in sort of 2000, and I didn't know what to call it, and I was listening to Monkey Wrench at the time by Foo Fighters. Well, a lot of people have kind of guessed that maybe that's what was going on.
Yeah, but until you actually ask, it's like anything, you can always guess.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I had a little phase of thinking that maybe I should change it up, do something a bit more serious, but people have kind of got attached to it, and like you say, it stands out.
It certainly does. When you look through, you have that giggle.
Yeah. And you think this is either going to be really bad or not so bad.
Yeah. So when are you on stage?
7:55.
7:55. Now, obviously, the last EP that you've just released, was that just you doing everything?
Yeah, it's basically, it started off as a solo sort of bedroom project, and in terms of writing and everything, it's still very much the same thing.
But you've got the band.
But there's a live band, so when things like this come up, if it's the right tour, the right show, we're ready to go. I've got the guys that I know can play it and represent it.
Now, I saw, is it an 8-string?
Yeah, that's right. Although I'm not playing the 8 today or tomorrow when we're playing rugby. Just because live, I tend to prefer playing the 7. It's a little bit more comfortable.
I was going to say, cause sometimes, depending on what you're trying to do, it can be a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the 8 is a little bit longer than the 7 as well and everything. So I kind of like to be in my comfort zone.
Yeah, especially because that's the last thing you want to be thinking about. You're thinking, shit, I've got to go all the way down.
Yeah.
So, because I was listening to it off the YouTube stuff, obviously with all the EP release and everything, and I'm just thinking, wow, just the music itself is just, again, it's just something different. Most of the bands I see that are playing the 8-string and the 7-strings, they're just concentrating on the screen.
Yeah. I guess, I've sort of come at it from a weird angle in that I was never really that big a metal listener when I was growing up. And when I started Chimp Spanner, there was no sort of ambition there to sort of get signed, go on tour, get a band. It was just, I was kind of just making something that I wanted to hear.
Yeah, if you enjoy what you're playing,
and that was the way I approached it. I figured if no one else likes it, I'm still having fun doing it. And if even one other person likes it, then that's mission accomplished. But
to get on stage at Hammerfest, it's a hell of an achievement for something that was a bed.
Absolutely, man. I think if I had have come at it from the point of view of I want what this band has got, I think maybe you could find yourself being a bit ungrateful for shows if they're not as big as you'd like them to be or they're not as whatever. But for me, everything from this point on is a nice bonus. I can already say I've done some things that I never would have imagined doing, like touring around Europe, going to America.
I was going to say, what would you consider to be the biggest ones you've done so far?
Yeah, probably the tour with Cynic was amazing. I'll admit to not having known that much about them before the tour.
But you get to know quite well.
They're just an incredible band, and they've got so much, such a good standing in the prog scene. They've got a lot of history. They've been at it a long time, and to kind of play alongside guys that have been doing it as long as they have, and still sort of, hold our own really was a really good experience. And then obviously getting to go to America and just coast to coast, it was crazy.
So is this gig at Hammerfest your biggest UK gig to date?
It's definitely my first festival, so I could say so. But we're definitely looking forward to it.
Obviously, because you're slightly different from every other band around. I always ask, is there a song that would itomise you as the way you are?
What we've done, obviously, because we're only on a half an hour slot, so I've kind of stripped it down to the stuff that I know is going to go down. I hope is going to go down well here.
It's what you think is more commercial for the variety of fans.
Normally, you know, when we've got like an hour-long set, you can sort of take your time, you can drag out the ambient bits, play some of the softer songs and stuff. But I think every song it's got a little bit of everything in it anyway. There's ambient, softer parts even inside the heavy songs.
Yeah, because when you listen to it, the composition of each song is still Chimp Spanner as a whole, because it's still the same composition.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that literally the only exception to that would probably be Harvey Wallbanger off the album. That's just like a straight up little song. I think it's only in the very middle. It's like, now it's a
little breakdown before it goes back. Yeah. No, that's fantastic. So, are you in the middle of the UK tour at present? Or is this
no, not at all. This is I say it's a one-off. We're playing rugby tomorrow.
Yeah.
But as I've been saying, this year...
Same old.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I mean, this year, I'm really obviously focusing on firstly getting the album done, getting another album finished, which was supposed to be first quarter of this year, but I'm being realistic.
Let's look at, if you look at timing, I mean, 2 years ago, I got engaged, and it was like 2 years is a long time before I get married.
Yeah, man, it goes so quick. I mean, even after Christmas, I'm thinking it's fine. I'm still at the beginning of 2013. I've got all the time in the world to play in the year, and now it's middle of March, But I mean, I'm working on the album. I'm working on sort of trying to cement some kind of music work outside of Chimp Spanner, just to keep money coming in, basically.
All self-funded.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, 29, I don't really want to sort of be relying on the bank of mum and dad's, Mum, I'm going on tour, I need money for the band deposit.
Kids, listen to this properly.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And the thing is it's no good to anyone if I sort of run myself into the ground. Going out there and on a limb, because there are no guarantees in anything. I would much rather sort of be a little bit cautious and sensible about it, and then I've got a nice firm backing that I can work from. And the thing is obviously I know timing is a factor to a certain degree, but if it's going to be a good album, it's going to be a good album regardless of money stuff.
You don't want to release it and then turn around and go, well, I wasn't quite happy with that.
Exactly. I mean, to an extent, I had that a little bit with the EP, not in that I wasn't happy with it, but it didn't really take off live, because so many promoters don't look at EPs as legitimate releases.
No.
Whereas if I had sat on it for maybe another 3 or 4 months and said, look, I only need to add another 2 tracks to this and it's going to be an LP, and that would have made the world of difference to the show offers and stuff. So it's a bit of a learning experience.
Yeah, I would say hindsight's fantastic.
Yeah.
If you only had hindsight.
But even then, the reason behind putting the EP out was that it's first and foremost about getting the people that enjoy your stuff to hear music, and I just wanted to give them something to listen to, and from that perspective, it was a success. But I definitely learned a lesson there with the whole EP, LP thing.
Yeah, I think it's like everything. You always hear from the older generation say, "Oh, you'll learn your lessons after."
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you do.
Yeah.
So obviously, so far so good.
Yes.
It's good success for the rest of the year, hopefully. Now, I don't recall seeing that you've done a gig around Manchester way for a while.
Not since. I think Manchester was the first show we played as a band. Satan's Hollow.
Yeah.
And that was it. We've not been back there since.
Because obviously we are originally around Manchester way.
Yeah.
So I do a bit of self-promoting by saying, come to Manchester.
Yeah.
Easier for me.
Absolutely. No, well, I mean, this is the thing, is because we're almost always in a position where we're either opening or main support. So a lot of people say, why didn't you come to so-and-so? Email the headliners and
I jokingly say this because it's one of these that we have transport. If you want to see someone, I would rather travel to see them and play where they play. You can't enforce, because again, for your benefit, if you try to put on a show yourself, you've got the financial implication, you then got to find a promoter that wants to work with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And it just causes no trouble. So do you actually record everything in a home studio? Or do you actually
it's just all done at home. I've recently got myself a V kit, one of the rolling TD kits. So all the new stuff, I've kind of got this set up at home now where I've got my kit, laptop and a stand next to me, keyboard next to that, guitars on the other side, and I can just sort of do each bit as I need to do it. And
yeah, I'd love that. My other half would kill me for it.
yeah, it's noisy, you know, even the electronic kits make a lot of noise. So
Yeah, almost every.
always having to work around noise constraints and working in home, but
Yeah, but need must, and it's obviously been successful. So that's
Absolutely.
the main thing. So, where's the best people that haven't heard of you?
Yeah.
They love the name, obviously.
yeah.
Where YouTube probably a better thing for you? For you?
Yeah, I mean YouTube, you don't have to look far on there to find either an upload of the album or a live show, or if they just go to basicrecords.com and you can stream all on Bandcamp. So
Bandcamp is a wonderful thing.
absolutely,
It means I'm not carrying a shitload of CDs around with me trying to get it sorted.
It was. I think it's not on Spotify anymore. I think something's happened there
Right.
from a sort of publishing perspective. Because I'm not in control of that, but it might be on Spotify. It might not. But otherwise, Bandcamp.
They'll find it one way or another.
Yeah.
Well, much appreciated.
No worries. Thank you.
Are you here for all weekend?
No, just for today.